Welcome to the Idea to Launch Show. My name is Lisa Zufall, and I will be your host today. In studio with me today, I have a very special guest that I'm excited to introduce you to. But before we get started, I'd like to introduce our sponsor. Our sponsor today is Studio Americana. It is a podcasting studio here in the Twin Cities. It is Twin Cities' premier audio facility for content creators. They have comprehensive services for creating podcasts and live streams, professional consulting, turnkey voiceover studios, audio editing for any level of project. They are fully staffed by experienced broadcast professionals, and you can host live or recorded shows, whatever works best for you. You can communicate with your guests or engage your audience with interactive phone services and call screening. You can also host live webinars through their studio. To learn more about Studio Americana, you can schedule a tour by contacting Ian at Studio Americana at 612-272-7970. Again, just contact Ian at Studio Americana, 612-272-7970. And we thank you, Studio Americana, for this wonderful studio that we are in. So now I'm super excited to introduce you to a guest that I recently ran into, and we just kind of hit it off. I went into her space called The Reserve. It's a co-working space here in the Twin Cities. They have two locations, one in Woodbury and the other one in Edina. Mary Bartlett is the Chief Operating Officer of The Reserve, and she's a phenomenal lady. She's just amazing to work with and collaborate with, because we've done some collaborating together, and it's just been a joy. And I welcome you to the show. Thank you for joining us this morning.
Yes, thank you so much, Lisa. I'm thrilled to be here.
So when I first walked into the Reserve, I thought it was the most beautiful thing. And I should let people know I walked into the Woodbury Reserve. I still haven't been over to the Eden Prairie one, but I plan on getting over there. Edina. The Edina one. Yeah, and I even wrote it down. So the Reserve has been around for 4 years. They are a premier professional co-working space. What does that mean?
Sure. We are really a shared professional workplace where like-minded small businesses and entrepreneurs really gather to do a few things. They want to work brilliantly, they want to meet productively, and they want to really engage in a vibrant community and grow their business ultimately. And so we provide that more than just the four walls of that space, but really that ecosystem, that environment, that energy and culture to allow those small businesses to really thrive. Yeah. And so, yes, like you said, founded 4 years ago, kind of the necessity's the mother of invention. A couple local entrepreneurs were frustrated they couldn't have productive places and professional places that really reflected their brand, where they could meet with potential investors, potential board members, potential employees, and other ideators to come together and talk about things. So they said, okay, if we can't find it, let's build it.
Right.
And we want to make sure that, a few key tenets related to the Reserve, because co-working is not a brand new trend. It's an up and coming trend, but not.
It was hot in California for many, many years.
Right, and New York. So probably 25 years ago, the industry started primarily with executive suites. Yep. So think about that attorney that needs four walls and a door they can close and someone to answer their phone. And so that was really the foundation of the industry. And then a disruptor named WeWork came to New York and said, I think people may want more than just a small office. And they may want something more and may want to be a part of a community. And I think, wonderful things can really happen when like-minded people get together. And so they preserve the concept of having private offices for small businesses, but added that community piece to it, and really took off. But primarily in urban areas, in large urban areas. And so what we really saw is, while there are a number of opportunities and locations that are in urban areas, a lot of people, either for running their own business or their own guests, clients, prospects, don't prefer to go downtown.
Right.
And they want something that's closer to home. They want to be able to be home for that soccer game, that football game for their kids.
Exactly.
They want somewhere that's really convenient and easy to find, highly accessible, but yet somewhere that is professional and is a great representation of their brand and their business as well. So as the Reserve was founded, we started with a few of those key tenets and saying, let's make it very accessible and convenient. Let's make it professional. So when you walk in, you have that, wow, this is really a place that is reflective of my company. It's a place I feel comfortable and confident bringing prospects. and then really kind of put that, that design, have premier technology around it, and then wrap around all of that what I call like Minnesota nice hospitality,
Right.
and really just wow the socks off of all of the, the guests and clients, prospects, and members that are there as we work to really anticipate the needs of the small businesses that are working.
So what is your mix right now in the Reserve?
Probably about a third small businesses or a third startups, and then a third established companies. Because what I've really realized is,
And that's shocking to me.
yeah, is because the more established companies will come to the Reserve for a few different reasons. Satellite companies, so they're headquartered elsewhere in the country. And they are saying, gee, we really want somewhere for our employees to work where they don't feel isolated. We don't want them stuck up in an office tower somewhere, but rather to be plugged into a community of people. And so the Reserve is a wonderful opportunity to be able to do that. Or larger companies need a neutral place to get off site, either to host meetings for overflow, or, gee, we want to have that brainstorming strategy session and we need to get everybody away from the office so that they're not distracted with all of those services.
Or they're on a conference call, a big conference call, or they're on the news. I don't know if you saw this reel, what was it, a couple months ago? And it hits me every time because I, sometimes work at home and you have the kids running around, but there was a guy on, I think it was CNN, and he was reporting about something, and his kid walked into the room, and then his wife ran in, and then she crawled out.
Yeah, with the child. I did. I saw that same clip, and everybody said, "There we are, busted working at home."
Right, and so this co-working space, the Reserve allows them to have a more professional look. Right. Without the distractions of the kids and the dogs and all those things coming in there when you're trying to have these important discussions.
Right, exactly. And so, looking at many of my startups, that are choosing to grow their business at the Reserve, that's constantly what I hear from them is they said, work, and I even myself, I've worked from home off and on a lot throughout my entire career, and it's good until it's not good anymore.
Right.
And what I hear from my members, are a few things. Is they said, now I don't have the interruptions, either the covert or overt interruptions. The UPS guy ringing the doorbell,
right.
Or it's the
the dog barking.
Exactly, and or the in your head interruptions of like, oh, let me go throw in a load of laundry, let me go do those things again, which distract you, throughout the day. And while we may think we're more productive, you're constantly interrupted more,
right.
In what we're doing working at home. Second thing they say is, I love having somewhere that I can professionally meet, instead of a coffee shop or a library or the lobby of a building or something like that. Now I can actually have a place where
a professional place where your guest can come in and you can have your discussion without hearing the coffee people brewing their coffees and calling names, or I don't know, sitting in the lobby and watching everybody walking in or out.
Drive by, exactly. And our team at the Reserve becomes an extension of your company and your brand as we greet
There's a lot of services you guys offer there.
Right. And greet your guests and clients, offer them water, coffee, make sure they're seated, and then we'll bring them back to you and say, okay, Lisa, your guests are here today. And all of a sudden, Lisa doesn't feel so much like a small business because you have this team of people that are really around you,
right?
And surrounding your business. So that's a big piece. And the meeting rooms, we've been quite thoughtful about ensuring that they are really set up for productivity and collaboration. Thank you.
They're high tech. They're they're absolutely beautiful.
Right. Yeah. And so productive. You can really host a productive meeting. A third thing for small home-based businesses is to think about is your professional presence online and what is your business address. And so people will come to us, wanting that professional business address as opposed to your home or a P.O. box, which are both bad for different reasons. So then we offer that service as well. So a mailing address that is aligned with our business.
Right.
And
you were just telling me about this. If I have a mailing address with the Reserve, what happens? If it's important, what happens?
You get an email from us saying that, gee, Lisa, you have mail today, and
the mailman at the local post office is not going to call you and tell you that you have mail.
That you have mail. Exactly. So if you want to come in and pick it up, you can, or you don't need to bother
That's amazing.
if it's something. So it's really going that extra step and making sure that you can be focused on what you need to be focused on. Another thing I hear from my previous home-based businesses, they say, I am so much more productive here because I get ready, I have my short drive to come into the reserve,
right.
But I'm focused. And I'm working when I'm here. And that is unique a bit about our environment there. You're surrounded by people, but everyone is really heads down working. And
right.
so it's got that energy, that environment of being around people, but yet they're getting things done as opposed to distracting you
right.
and, having it be loud and, a lot of people moving around, things like that. So people
right.
really are genuinely working when they're on site.
But don't get her wrong, folks. There's still a lot of fun stuff that they do there.
There is. And that really is probably one of the other biggest parts about working at the reserve versus at home is because, innovation rarely happens in isolation.
Right.
And
bingo.
And you want to be a part of a vibrant community. And it's a great community to plug into because there's so many folks in your same industry, in complementary industries, where you have that opportunity to connect.
Right.
And network, and you're all, at similar stages within your business. And, one of the most rewarding things I see is small businesses doing business with each other.
Right.
And that is genuinely exciting because as small businesses, we all have so many challenges and needs that we're not uniquely qualified to be able to put together.
Right.
And so now the fact I could reach out to you, Lisa, and say, gee, I really need help with my website. And you're sitting right next to me at the reserve, and now you have,
right.
I have someone that I know and trust already that
right.
can help me with that piece of my business, and maybe you need help with accounting,
right?
And I'm an accountant, and I can help you get your book set up. And
Exactly.
before you know it, we're sharing services and and working together. And so, at the reserve, we really work to create and foster this vibrant community. So we do fun things like happy hours. We do a lot of happy hours, and donut days.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Donut days or morning events, but we also do professional events where I love nothing more than to feature our members in member meetup sessions where they can talk about their business and what they do and what some of their needs are, even what they can give to the community, what they may want to get from the community. And then we bring in outside speakers as well. So I try to really stay in touch with what the businesses need.
Right.
And so they're telling me, gee, it's coming around that time of year. I really need to get my taxes in order. And so I know, unnecessary evil for everyone. So, I'll look to say, okay, well, let's bring in a small business tax accountant, to help people prepare for that,
right.
for that season. And so it's internal experts and it's external, folks as well. And so it's, people even outside of the membership community use the space to host those events. So that's also, it isn't just the members who have access to the reserve. Someone who's a public user who just needs it for one-time hosting a big event or running a meeting or doing a weekend seminar or something like that has access to the reserve as well.
That's amazing. And you've been with the reserve. Have you been with them all 4 years?
Not 4 years. About 2 years ago.
Okay.
I joined. Yeah.
So how did you find them, and how did you get connected with the reserve yourself?
Interesting question. They found me, so
I'm not surprised.
I know the founder and the CEO, CFO through just some previous professional relationships, and they reached out to me and said, gee, we're thinking of adding a new offering and doing some professional services. And I spent 16 years in consulting and another 10 years in the customer service space in doing sales and tech support virtually for people. So they said, gee, let's pick your brain on how this might work here. And I think after I told them no to every one of their ideas, they said, okay, well, then why don't you come on board and fix it? No, I was just giving them my wisdom or my advice on saying, this is how I've run things. I wouldn't set it up that way. And as we kept talking, they said, we really would love to have someone come in and run the day-to-day operations. And we were rebranding and getting ready to launch our second location. So it was perfect. I feel that, really like everything in my career has led me to this point in being able to be a connector, work with small businesses, run operations, develop a team, and really be a part of watching small businesses grow and thrive. And that's probably one of the most exciting parts of my job is someone will come to us, as a coworker just working in, our open space because they need that productive place to work. They pretty quickly start to grow their company. They add another employee or two. They get a small office. They outgrow the small office. They go to a larger office, in our space, and then they fly the nest, right? Because their business is now successful and they're able to go ahead and get and feel confident to be able to get their own long-term lease. And that's one of the other reasons that a flexible shared workplace is really attractive to small businesses, because if
you're not locked in.
You're not locked in. Yeah, you're looking, initially to say, oh my goodness, if I want to get a traditional lease somewhere, it's 3 to 5 years. I have to furnish everything, every stick of furniture, all the technology. I have to put a receptionist in place. I need a meeting room space that I may not even use all that much.
Right.
And before I know it, I'm putting a second mortgage on my house to go ahead and co-sign on this lease, for this business. And I'm not even 100% confident that in 3 years my business will be in business, or will it even be this size, or will I be bursting at the seams? And so the flexible model of different sizes of office and short-term licenses that are 12 months, in duration is really attractive to small businesses, because not only are our office space is fully furnished, and I say it takes about 15 minutes for me to move somebody in because we have everything there that you need.
Right.
Which
was amazing to me. I'd never heard of that before.
Right. And so people can just trade up as they need space, or downsize as they don't. And so it takes a lot of risk out of that significant line item on your balance sheet called real estate.
So when I rent an office, you can bring in a desk for me. You can bring in...
We have everything all set up: ergonomic chairs, desks, lighting, enterprise-grade secure Wi-Fi, everything that you need to get productive. We have phone service. We have phone answering if you would like us to do a warm branded answer for your company. All of that is really turnkey to come in. If you want to bring in your own amenities, make your space, make your office your own.
That's what I really loved about it, because we looked at a few that were just decked out to the hilt. People came in and they were able to put their own touches, whether they're painting the walls or putting in their own furniture.
Exactly. So now your workspace, your office, can really represent your brand and what's important to you, even though you're with 40 other companies, that are sharing offices in the in the same space.
With some co-working spaces, there's some guidelines. These are the walls in which you work.
Right.
And you don't change those necessarily. But with you guys, you're just like, well, we're going to have to repaint it anyway. So
make it yours.
Yeah, make it yours. And I just love that.
You're right. And I love it because then it is really a reflection of their company, and they feel most at home, and as if it is their own. Their own space. So that is really attractive. And we do a lot to promote the businesses as well. In our space, we have a big member logo wall. We run, ads at our front desk so people can always see who are the members in our space. They can be a part of that directory so that we can encourage that collaboration and connectivity. You don't have to. If people prefer to go to their workspace, do their thing and leave, you don't have to engage if you don't want to, but it's there and available to be something additional that you won't find at home or working from a coffee shop, really.
So what is the lowest entry point for a startup to come in and start using the co-working
Great space. So the co-working works like a gym membership in that it is a large open space that we have ergonomic chairs and work surfaces set up for everyone, and you just pick a spot to sit whenever you come in. Whenever you come into work. And co-working starts at $75 a month.
$75 a month.
And that gives you access to the space on afternoons and weekends, and one work day a month. And it gives you access to printing, the business center, the catering services that we have there, really everything that you need to get started. And then just trade up or work up as you find now you're working more and more there. You can work up to half-time or part-time in a month to coworkers that this is their primary workspace and they're there every day. They're there every day.
And so. I think it's important to know that it's the open co-working spaces. They have offices. There's single offices, double offices, and then you have the huge corner office.
Right.
That I saw.
Yep. The offices are anywhere from a capacity of 1 to 7 as the size of our offices. So that's what really gives people that flexibility to, like I said, to grow without having to leave the overall building.
Right.
With things. So.
And you can help them get all that set up.
Right. Like, takes about 15 minutes to move them in.
That's amazing. So as a successful businesswoman, what do you see as one of the biggest opportunities that small business owners and entrepreneurs should take advantage of today?
I think it really is around this community piece, and it's making sure that you're staying plugged in and current to other businesses and what's going on. And there are some very intensive, expensive ways to do that if you want to formally join networking organizations and things like that that may or may not kind of meet your needs. But there are also more organic ways to do that by joining a community, of people and making sure that you are really evaluating or engaging with every kind of dimension of your business. Are you looking at the legal side? Are you looking at the marketing? Are you looking at the marketing side? How about pricing? How about security? All those different things like that. And so whatever you choose to do as a small business, make sure you're plugged into a diverse network, of people so that you have access to a lot of those experts and insights, from other people that can help you make your business stronger. And I think there are a lot of other free resources out there for people as well. I know I've come across, some of our partners. The James J. Hill Resource Center is incredible, downtown St. Paul, and they run a great program called 1 Million Cups, where you can come and pitch your business and get feedback from a very diverse audience. Most all of the counties have nonprofit economic development councils as well, and departments that are really focused on helping small businesses get gap funding if they need that, help them get consultative services if they need help with a business plan or financial plan or something like that. So there are so many resources out there available to small businesses that it's reach out, and that's what we're all in business to do, is to help you be successful.
Right. Yeah, and what I'm finding is a lot of these startups or these entrepreneurs, because they spend so much time in their own world, they're unaware of the depth of resources that are available to them.
Right.
And that's primarily the reason why we started this show, is to kind of highlight the resources that are available and help these people navigate through, because you have so many options that sometimes your head can start spinning. You don't know really where to start.
Right.
And so what I love to do is find the best of the best in the Twin Cities for startups and entrepreneurs, and bring them in to highlight their services for these guys, because instead of struggling, instead of being on your own, and we talk about this a lot, it's best to surround yourself with like-minded individuals. It's best to surround yourself with a tribe of folks who challenge you to go to that next level, or to surround you and help you with the pieces that you might not have at your disposal.
And really look for opportunities where there are a panel of experts. I know I'm partnering with Washington County we're talking about doing an expo where we would have that. So we'd have a panel of people that have been through starting up a business. What are their tips and tricks and lessons learned? Most importantly, their lessons learned, because then we can really find out what are the mistakes, where are the landmines we really want to avoid, as we're starting up a small business.
That's interesting, because on the way in this morning, I was listening to the radio, and they were talking about, I forgot her name, but the founder of Spanx. She was just crowned the wealthiest woman, self-made woman in the world. She's worth over a few $1 billion, right? But her thing was that she doesn't talk about being successful. She doesn't talk about success. Her biggest lesson learned was every night at dinner time, her dad would ask her, "What did you fail at today?" And she would go through. The way that they spoke about it was that he was trying to help her understand that no matter what you do, at least you're trying, and you will always be loved and supported by that, which she believes was the catapult to helping her create this empire. Because when you're in a startup, you spend a lot of time failing before you succeed. And so it's just understanding that, it's okay as long as you keep trying and you keep persevering. So I love that. And I love this panel that's coming up. Will you keep us posted on that?
I will. Yeah, we're talking like early winter. Sometime.
Which is like next week?
I know. It could be. It could be Minnesota. You never know. It very well could be. But it really is true, because, they always say the only time you learn something learn something is the first time you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it, going skiing or something. The first time you do it, or when you make a mistake, when you
Right.
fall going skiing. Okay,
Right.
now I learned something. After that, we're just building a skill.
Right.
True learning only helps in that first moment and when we fail. And there's no way we can make all the mistakes that are out there. So it's great to be able to learn from other people
Right.
to avoid those
Exactly.
pitfalls.
That's why your panel is really exciting. So
Right.
keep us
Will
posted
do.
so that we
Will
can
do.
let our folks know. So here's one of the last questions is how can our community support you in the reserve?
Sure. One of the best and most interesting ways is come and check it out. We post all of our events out on our LinkedIn profile and out on social media. So come and meet some of the members and attend some of the events. The other most important thing to really bring it to life, even if you look at the website, which is www.reserve.work.
I was gonna ask you that. Yeah.
So it's reserve.work. What happens is people can see pictures, we have a video, and they kind of get it, but it's really walking through the actual front door,
Right.
where I see people. I always call the virtual light bulb goes off on top of them, and they're, oh, now I see how all these small businesses work together, and I see your brand, I see the
Right.
service, that you provide. And so that really is, one of the best ways is to come, take a quick tour, take a look, and you're more than welcome to have a free trial on trying out a meeting room, or come and co-work for a day, see if it's something that works for you or not. But just give it a shot to step out of the office, the home office.
What I
and
really
try
love
it.
about it is the co-working spaces that I have been learning about are downtown.
Many are.
Yours was the one that went to the suburbs, and namely in my neighborhood.
Right.
And I was like, this is amazing to have a resource right in my backyard
Yep.
where I don't have to, fight traffic going downtown, pay for parking. And not that there's anything wrong with that. And if you like paying for parking and fighting with traffic, more power to you. But this just made it a lot easier.
Yeah, and that's a lot of what we were originally founded on, is that accessibility and convenience. It's 2 turns off the freeway,
Yep.
free parking. It's that retail experience where you walk right in the door. You're not wandering about, looking for the suite number or something like that. So it's trying to make that experience easy for both members who will come to be working
Right.
at the space, but also their guests, their clients, their prospects as well.
So if I'm interested, I go to reserve.work,
Right.
get your address, and then I can just show up between.
You can show on the website. You can book a tour if
Okay.
you want to come and do that. You can give us a call if you have questions. If you want to put in an email inquiry, you can do that off the website as well. If you're interested in, tell me more about meeting rooms or tell me about this office space, just put in an inquiry on the website, and we will reach back out to you and answer your questions and
And they're
see
great
how we can
about
help.
getting back to you pretty quickly.
We will. I mean, you'll get a response in less than 12 business hours.
Right. Which is fantastic. So, I mean, is there anything else, other tips or anything else that you would like to add to our audience?
I think the most important thing is think about where your business is growing and where it's headed. And we come from a hockey family, and there's
You're in Minnesota.
Or Minnesota, you can't help it, And some of the great hockey players always say, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where it is right now. And same thing. So look at your business and think, not where am I today, but where do I want to be in 12 months? And am I surrounding myself in an environment,
Right.
and am I surrounding myself with people that can help me get where I need to get to, in the next 12 months? And if I'm not, then maybe it's time to make a change.
Right. Beautiful. Isn't it fun to talk to these guys and learn about the resources that are here? I just want to thank you all for joining us on this Idea to Launch episode. I think it was very special. And Mary, I just can't thank you enough for coming in here and joining us.
My pleasure. I'm so glad to find out about the studio here as, again, another resource for small businesses who want to
It's
do
beautiful.
podcasts and things like this to promote their business.
And for our audience out there, if you are looking to do any kind of podcasting or you want to do a professional webinar, please feel free to contact Ian over here at Studio Americana. With that being said, we'll see you guys next week. If you like this video, please comment, post, and share it out with your friends. We appreciate you being here.